Hey guys, today we're going to read Little Critter, Just a Storybook Collection by Mercer Mayer. Bye bye, Mom and Dad. Today Mom and Dad went on a trip, and Grandma and Grandpa came to stay with us. Bye bye, Mom and Dad, I said. Don't worry, I will take care of everything. First we had to do our chores, so we vacuumed, we mopped, and we dusted. Then we did some painting. I told Grandpa I was a very good painter, but the paint spilled a little. Then we had to do some shopping. At the store I pushed the cart and showed Grandma just what we needed to buy. When we got home I made a special lunch for everyone, peanut butter and pickle sandwiches with potato chips, marshmallows, and chocolate syrup on top. Grandma and Grandpa said it was the best lunch they ever had. After lunch, little sister helped Grandpa water the garden while Grandma and I did the dishes. You have to use lots of soap if you want the dishes really clean, Grandma, I said. Then we went to the movies. Grandma likes popcorn and Grandpa likes candy, so we had to get lots of both. After that, we went bowling. I helped Grandma roll the ball because it was too heavy. On the way home, we were hungry, so we stopped at Critter Burger. I ordered a super burger and a super shake, but I dropped them. When we got home, it was time to get ready for bed, so we all put on our pajamas, washed our faces, and brushed our teeth. Mom says to use lots of toothpaste, I said. Then I told Grandma and Grandpa a scary story. It was a little too scary for them, so we had to check for monsters in the closet and under the bed. Grandma and Grandpa were still a little scared, so little sister and I stayed with them all night long. Good night, Grandma. Good night, Grandpa. Good for me and you. Today in school we learned about what foods are good for us. I asked why carrots are better for me than cookies. Because carrots have vitamins to help you grow, Miss Kitty told me. Cookies just taste good. In gym we did lots of exercises. First we jumped rope. I jumped the fastest, but the rope was a little too long. We had a contest to see who could do the most sit-ups and push-ups. I won, almost. The next day I made lunch for Mom, Dad, and little sister. Surprise, I said. Eat every bite because all of this food is good for you. After lunch I told my family I had another surprise. I took them all on a bike ride. Come on, Dad, I said. You can do it. The next day, when Tiger came over to play video games, I had a great idea. I called all of our friends to tell them. My friends and I played football all afternoon. I scored the touchdown that won the game. The next morning, I walked to school instead of taking the bus, but I had to hurry because walking sure takes longer. At lunch, I almost had a brownie for dessert, but I decided to have an apple instead. On the way home, we saw a big sign. Look, said Gabby, there's going to be a race in Critterville. Let's run in the race, I said. Everybody cheered. Gabby said we should do exercises to get ready for the race, but then I got hungry, so I stopped to have a snack. Tiger and Malcolm were hungry too, so I gave each of them a snack. Exercise sure gives you a big appetite. The next day we went swimming. I wore my snorkel and my flippers because they make me go faster. After that, we practiced running as fast as we could. I beat Tiger, but Gator beat me. Malcolm beat all three of us, but Gabby beat Malcolm. Gabby's really fast. The day of the race, we all took our places at the starting line. On your marks, get set, go, called the announcer. Then he blew a whistle. I got off to a fast start. I didn't win, but I ran the whole way without stopping. Doing stuff that's good for you isn't just healthy, it's lots of fun too. Just a school project. We were having a science fair at our school. Miss Kitty said we were each supposed to do a special project. Tiger was going to do his about rocks. Gator was going to do his about stars. Gabby was going to do hers about horses. Everyone had an idea except for me. I told Mom I needed an idea for my project, so she took me to the library. The librarian showed me the science section. There were lots and lots of books, and they gave me lots and lots of ideas. First I made a rocket ship, but no matter how hard I tried, I didn't fly to the moon. Then I decided to dig for dinosaur bones. I dug and dug, but all I found was one of my dog's chewing bones. After that, it was time for lunch, and there, right next to my sandwich, was a caterpillar. "Mom, Dad," I shouted, "I know what I'm going to do my project about. Caterpillars." Dad helped me look up facts about caterpillars. Did you know that a caterpillar starts its life as an egg? When it hatches, it eats leaves and flowers all day and all night long. So I went outside and I hunted for caterpillars. They sure were hard to find. I put the caterpillars in a special box with some leaves and some flowers so they would have enough to eat. Dad and I went to the store to get poster board, markers, and glue. You sure need lots of stuff when you do a project. I wrote my report on the poster board, but I wrote a little too big. Dad had to go back to the store and get more poster board. Then I drew some pictures of caterpillars and glued them to my report. The glue was a little too sticky. Did you know that a caterpillar gets bigger by splitting its skin down the back and crawling out in a new skin? A week later, it was time for the science fair. Everyone brought in a project. I set up my poster board and opened up the box with caterpillars in it. And you know what? A whole bunch of butterflies flew out. That's because caterpillars turn into butterflies when they grow up. It was the best science project ever. Just a snowman. It snowed and snowed all night long, so today we had a snow day. Hooray! I wanted to build a snowman. I put on my snow boots and my hat and my mittens and my scarf. Then I helped little sister put on her snow stuff. After that, Dad needed my help. We shoveled and shoveled lots of snow, and then we had to find the car. I was going to build a snowman next, but little sister wanted to have a snowball fight. I let her hit me a bunch of times. I only hit her one time by accident. So then, I had to say I was sorry and give her a big hug. I was going to build a snowman after that, but Tiger and Bun Bun wanted to go ice skating. So I showed everyone how I can skate backwards and do jumps. Then Tiger and I raced. It was a tie. I was ready to build a snowman next, but Maurice and Molly wanted to go sledding. I steered all the way down the big hill. "Watch out, Maurice and Molly, here we come." When little sister and I got home, I was going to build a snowman, but Gator wanted me to help him build a snow fort. And then Gabby wanted to make snow angels. Finally, it was time to build a snowman. First, we made a big snowball for the bottom. Next, we put a smaller one on top, and an even smaller one on top of that one. Little sister added prunes for his eyes and mouth, and a carrot for his nose. And I put Mom's scarf around his neck and Dad's hat on his head. I even let him wear my sunglasses. Our snowman sure looked great. Little sister was getting cold, so we went inside. The snowman looked cold too, so I decided to make some of my special hot chocolate to warm us all up. First, Mom heated some milk while I got out the secret ingredients. I put everything into the pot and stirred it all up with a big spoon. Then I put marshmallows on top and I poured the hot chocolate into 3 big mugs, one for me, one for little sister, and one for the snowman. It was the best snow day ever. I sure hope it snows again tomorrow. Just big enough. Every morning on my way to school, I always sit in the same seat on the school bus. But this morning, a big kid took my seat. "Excuse me," I said, "you're sitting in my seat." The big kid didn't move. I guess he didn't hear me. At recess, I wanted to play football with the big kids, but they said I couldn't play because I was too small. And at lunch, the big kids took all of the cupcakes. They laughed when I said they had to share. They told me the cupcakes were just for them. "I wish I were bigger," I said to my friends. They nodded. "I bet there are lots of ways to grow," I said. After school, my mom measured me. "How can I make myself grow?" I asked Mom. Eat your vegetables, she said. They will make you grow big and strong. So at dinner, I ate almost all of my spinach and a whole bunch of carrots. Am I bigger yet? I asked Mom. Not yet. Later, I asked Dad what would make me grow. Exercise, he said. So I did jumping jacks, sit-ups, and push-ups, and I ran around and around. After all that exercise, I didn't get any bigger, but I sure got tired. That night, I couldn't sleep, so I read a comic book, and that's when I got a great idea. The next morning, I asked Dad for some wood and some glue. Mom gave me tinfoil, and little sister let me have a jar of her glitter. What are you making? Asked little sister. A growing machine, I said. I worked on the growing machine all morning. When it was finished, I sprinkled some glitter on it so it sparkled like the one in the comic book I had read. I made a helmet out of tinfoil, then I put on my helmet and climbed into the growing machine. I sat in the growing machine all afternoon. I even ate my lunch there. When it became dark, Dad said it was time to come inside. Did I grow? I asked. Dad shook his head and said, not yet. Maybe I should sleep in the growing machine, I said. Dad didn't think that was such a good idea. The next day I went to Grandma and Grandpa's farm. What's the matter, little critter? Asked Grandpa. I told Grandpa about the big kids and how I was trying to get big too so that I could do all the things the big kids did. Grandpa took me out to the meadow. Look at those two horses, he said. Which one do you think is the fastest? The big one? I said. Grandpa let the big horse and the little horse loose. They started to run across the field. And do you know which one was the fastest? The little one. The next day at school, the big kids said again that I couldn't play football because I was too small. I started to get mad. I challenge you to a relay race, I said. The big kids against the little kids. The big kids laughed, but they said, okay. The whole school came to watch the race. And you know what? The little kids won. So I guess sometimes being small is just big enough. My trip to the hospital. We were playing soccer and the score was tied. I ran and kicked the ball as hard as I could, but the goalie was in the way. Goal! Shouted Tiger. We won! Ow! I screamed. My leg hurt a lot, but I hardly cried at all. Don't worry, little critter, said Dad. You'll be okay, said Mom. An ambulance came. I was put on this skinny bed called a stretcher, and then I got carried off the field. The whole soccer team waved goodbye. Mom came with me in the ambulance. I held her hand because she looked a little scared. When we got to the hospital, I got to ride on the stretcher all the way inside. A nurse listened to my heart with this thing called a stethoscope. Then she let me try the stethoscope on Mom. Wow, Mom, your heart is beating really fast, I said. The nurse gave me a big lollipop and told me I was very, very brave. The doctor came to examine my leg. This may hurt a little, he said. It sure did. But I took a deep breath and counted backwards. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it was over. You have a broken leg, little critter, he said. Do you have the right tools to fix it? I asked. The doctor nodded. Then he gave me a cool sticker that said Little Champ because he said I was a real champ. Next, I went to have special pictures taken called x-rays. The nurse took the pictures with this big machine that could have been on a spaceship. She said the x-ray showed all the bones in my leg. You know, Super Critter has x-ray vision, I told the nurse. That means he can see through stuff too, just like this machine. After that, it was time to get my cast. The doctor started wrapping bandages around my leg. I feel like a mummy, I said. A little while later, the nurse came to check my cast. She said I could go home soon, but first, I had to learn how to use my crutches. My cast sure was heavy and almost made me fall over, but I kept trying. Finally, I got it right. Good job, little critter, said the nurse. Now you can go home. Little sister and Dad picked us up. Everybody wanted to help me with my crutches, but I told them I could do it myself. I walked all the way to the front door, and I barely slipped once. Mom made me spaghetti and meatballs, my favorite dinner in the whole world, and I got to eat it in front of the TV. I was sure happy to be home. At school, everyone said I was a hero. We won the game all because of you, little critter, said Tiger. Then all my friends signed my cast. By the time they were done, it looked like a rainbow. The end.